This is the Dream is Free podcast, episode 9, I believe. I'm your host, Jake Healy. We have our other host and super producer, Mike Theophil.
What up, what up?
Very excited for our guest today. He's a Bridgeport local native. His name is Harry Bell. He is the founder and director of the Color of Positive Thought nonprofit organization.
So I was doing that to take me from a place that I was at presently, but I needed to be somewhere else mentally. And by doing that, I was like in LA on a beach somewhere, even though I was hearing gunshots and had to hide under the bed or something like that. But the time when I was doing that sketching and writing these quotes, I felt like I was on top of the world. That
All right, we are back. This is the Dream is Free podcast, episode 9, I believe. I'm your host, Jake Healy. We have our other host and super producer, Mike Theophil.
What up, what up?
Very excited for our guest today. He's a Bridgeport local native. His name is Harry Bell. He is the founder and director of the Color of Positive Thought nonprofit organization. And today he's coming in to tell us about his story and tell us about his organization and all of the amazing things that they are up to. And I hope I did you justice with the introduction.
Man, you did great. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah,
thanks for having me.
Thank you
Thanks for coming, bro. Appreciate it. When Shit told me the story, it was like, dude, get him on ASAP, you know?
It's funny. I was at Harborview Market again. We've gotten
Harbor.
a lot of guests from Harborview Market. Like,
Wow.
I met some
Shout
cool
out
people
Harborview.
there.
You was air hustling.
Hell yeah. Oh, yeah.
I was creeping because I was sitting at the table next to them, and I just heard you talking. And the guy who was running for Congress, he came and said hi to me and everything, and then he was sitting there, and then those other people showed up, and then you showed up, and you come with an energy though. I have to say,
he said that.
As soon as you showed up and said hi to me, when I was sitting there, like you said hi to everybody there, I was like, all right, he's got a positive energy to him, right? And then I'm sitting there, I'm working, but I'm right behind you, and I could hear you telling your story, and I was like, this is perfect for our podcast. We've had a few different people from nonprofit organizations come on. Full Court Piece. He does basketball. He'd actually be a cool person for you to meet. He does
we'll link him up.
Basketball court refurbishing in the projects and stuff.
And in third world countries.
We're going to third world countries. He goes to Cuba.
Yeah, we'll be there December 5th through the 7th.
His main focus is Connecticut cities. So he's from Connecticut. So he gets outside communities involved with inner city communities to refurbish basketball courts and stuff.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, cool.
I live in Trumbull. Well, I was born and raised in Trumbull Gardens, and our basketball court needs some refurbishing. So we'll please link up. Link us up, man.
Yeah, maybe and we want to go do a basketball court with them. So maybe that's the one that we'll go do. Do it together. Cool. Yeah,
we'll make that happen here.
We had this other guy, Danny Vieira, on, who says he knows you, not well, but he says he knows you and like what you're doing and stuff. He runs a nonprofit helping children with cancer. He came on. He has a really cool story too.
Wow, cool.
Yeah, so I'd like to link you up with both of them. They probably have a lot of advice they could share with you too. They've been doing the nonprofit stuff for a while, so.
And they're just like really spiritual.
Yeah,
good guys to like talk to. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Motivators. They're positive. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It makes sense because in my first book, I do have a page that reflects on cancer.
Okay.
And how to bring the best out of dark situations.
Perfect. Yeah.
And this is how this actual book came apart out of a dark situation.
Yeah. So let's get into this. Why don't you tell us about yourself first, what your story is and what led you to starting this organization?
Well, I'm gonna do my best to sum up a movie in a couple seconds.
Okay.
that I'll direct one day.
Yeah, take your time. Like, you can give us the long version too. We're good.
I got you. Well, again, I grew up in Trumbull Gardens,
which is a housing
project.
People don't know.
Project.
Yeah, people don't know.
Yeah.
Yes, I call it Trumbull Gardens. Other people might call it the Terrace.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not too far from here. It's a hop, skip, and a jump away from this location we have today. But I grew up in Trumbull Gardens, the Terrace, one of the high crime places in Bridgeport. I grew up there for 36 years. I'm actually 36. I just bought a condo a couple blocks over.
Hey, congrats, bro.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah, but I grew up in Trumbull Gardens, and growing up in Trumbull Gardens was hard, and just the outside part was hard. But my story, me entering the world, was kind of hard too. My mother was addicted to drugs, and she gave me to her sister to raise me. During that time, I was being raised by my aunt, who always kept me feeling like I was one of hers. But mentally, as a kid, seeing your birth mom outside, being high off of drugs and trying to come give you a hug and kiss in front of your friends, and you're probably like maybe 5 or 7 years old, and she's saying, I'm your real mom, and things of that nature, and she's intoxicated, because back in the 80s, that was a real high drug era, and it got the best of my mom's. When I was young, I didn't understand, but today I thank her, because by her giving me up, gave me a chance, and it actually made me who I am today. And I'm accomplished so much, and that's the reason why I'm on this show. So may she rest in peace. Her name is Elizabeth Bell. But yeah, she died when I was probably like in the 7th grade. But like I said, I grew up in a household where I had a brother who was actually my cousin, a sister who was actually my cousin, but we grew up calling each other brothers and sisters. But I kind of felt like the black sheep, and literally I was the black sheep, not because a way I was being treated. It was just the way I felt in the inside, due to the fact that this is not my mom. Like, this is not my real brother and sister. So it was like an inner thing that I had to go through. Now, and I used to wonder why I used to see movies and kids find out they adopted when they older. And I'd be like, that's wrong. But when I think about it now, I know why. Because it'll have you like I was as a kid, lost. Right. So I used to like my older brother, he's probably like 5 or 6 years older than me. And little things that used to like trigger me to think crazy, as of like, say if he wanted to stay out longer, and my mom, who's really my aunt, but watched me grow and took me from the hospital, and he asked her, he go outside? And she'd be like, yeah, you can go outside. Then I'll ask her, can I go outside? And she'd be like, no. First thing that come to my mind is, why? Because I'm not your real son, not knowing that I'm younger than him. Right. So things
just
like
always compare that to what's going on.
Yeah. So it was like I was like battling something inside that I didn't know how to battle. I was only like 7 years old, so I didn't know how to fight that. So I kept all of that within. When I was older, I used to sketch, and I used to write little quotes to go with the sketch. So it was like stick figure, bobblehead things of kids doing something positive. And I will write a quote that kind of exemplified the sketch. So I was doing that to like take me from a place that I was at presently, but I needed to be somewhere else mentally. And by doing that, I was like in LA on a beach somewhere, even though I was hearing gunshots and had to hide under the bed or something like that. But the time when I was doing that sketching and writing these quotes, I felt like I was on top of the world, that I grew up in the White House, or I grew up in a beautiful home, because that took me somewhere. So
your imagination.
Yes. I let my imagination go. And fast forward, maybe 15 years later, I have a son. My son was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. He's gonna hurt me for saying that he hates this story, but this story is a part of him. This book is him. Like, you know what I mean? So he don't like me bringing that part up, but I'm giving you guys the real.
Yeah. Right.
And fast forward again. So it's 15 years ahead, and my son he's about 9 years old. He's 16 now. He was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. Back then, my son was a fan of coloring. I know that my son loved to color. So I wanted to do something to like uplift him. I wanted to do something to make him feel like everything was going to be all right during this traumatic moment that we have to go through together.
Was he struggling with when he got diabetes? Like, was he?
The craziest thing, I was struggling more than him.
Got it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that he was stronger than me at that moment.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, I was just being a parent,
right,
and trying to like be the Superman, saying nothing, you're gonna be okay. We got this. I'm gonna create something for you to get your mind off of it. But I was really telling myself as well that I'm gonna be okay, because I was hurting in the inside, because I didn't want to have to deal with the fact that my son's life has to change.
right.
Because reality, when you faced with something like diabetes, it's a life-changing thing.
Yeah.
Right.
So
We actually, our first person that we had on,
Dr. Attar.
Dr. Attar, is a naturopathic physician.
Yeah.
He was in the military, living in Europe. He's a captain in the U.S. Army, and diagnosed with diabetes, type 1 diabetes, and had to medically retire from the military. And really, like, he got obsessed with diet and how everything works. But it's just funny how it comes
it all comes together
back
in the
full
show.
circle,
Yeah.
Yep.
So back at it. So I wanted to look for a coloring book due to the fact back then my son was in love with coloring. So I wanted to look for a coloring book that hits 3 pillars: fun, educational, and empowering. I looked on YouTube. I looked on, like I said, YouTube. I looked on everywhere to find where can I find a coloring book, Walmart, and all places, stores like that sell coloring book that target these 3 things: fun, education, and empowering. And I couldn't find a coloring book that specifically boils down to them 3 things. So I said to myself, let me go back to my quotes.
Right.
After a while I was looking, I'm like, you know what? Something like a light bulb, ping, just went off in my head and said, go back to your quotes. So they was in a shoebox in my closet. And I went in there, I dusted the shoebox off, because remind you, them things is like 20 years old, 15 years old. I haven't wrote a quote prior to then in like, 15 years,
Thank God you saved them too.
I saved them. Yeah, I saved them. So I brought all the quotes. I had maybe about 15 pages, and I brought them and I put them on the table, and I said, I can make my son a coloring book out these quotes. So it was a guy that I know by the name of Solomon Stanley. He probably lived maybe 3 doors down from me in the terrace, and he was he about 6 years, 7. He grew up with my brother, maybe a little older, and he was a great artist. He used to be making shirts and with graffiti on it and things like that. He's just a talented dude. Just taught himself, I believe. No schooling or nothing, just in him to be a great artist. And
the raw talent.
Yes, the raw talent. So I called him over here one day. I says, yo, Sal, I got 14 pictures. I'll pay you to take these pictures and broaden them for me. Make these pictures into like characters, bubble characters. A week went by, he came back and he had these pictures that looked amazing. I was blown away. But that was just the beginning, because now I needed to put these in book format. I didn't know nothing about that. But I tell you, God will put the right people in front of you at the right time.
I believe that, brother.
Yeah.
Seriously.
When you're seeking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
You ever read
You ever read The Alchemist?
You ever read the book The Alchemist?
Nah.
Okay.
You got to read
Read the book The Alchemist, because
that's your next read.
what you just said, it's a very like spiritual book. It's about following the omens, and there's one quote out of the book. I'm gonna probably paraphrase it,
Yeah,
but
definitely. It's all right.
there's a young kid, and he's talking to this old wise king, and the king says, when you are trying to do something in life, right? If you sincerely want to do that, the entire universe will conspire to help you achieve what you're trying to do.
Right.
Wow.
If all your being is in it.
Yeah.
Wow.
All of it. You can't,
I agree.
It can't be half, can't be 90. It has to be 100.
Yeah.
I get it. And I was 100% because look how things worked out. Back then, I was an armed guard for the University of Bridgeport.
Yo, shout out UB.
Mike went
I'm
there.
a knight.
Yeah. I was S3.
Okay.
My job was to escort students to like Walgreens and bring them back to campus. Some of them lived off campus because back then when I was there was a lot of incident with them getting robbed and things like that.
Oh, okay.
So I was an armed guard to actually
with them.
escort
Yeah, I'm not messing with
them.
you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I had to escort them to, like I said, some of them, they had night classes. I had to bring them. Some of them lived off campus, so I bring them to campus and bring them back, bring them home. So one of the bike drivers that who was a guard, because you got the armed guards and you got the individuals that
The bicycle guys.
bicycle guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
So his name is Ed Hernandez. So one day he got in the car with me. I was gonna bring him over there to ABC, to the ABCD side of UB. That's over there on the Iraniston side.
Got it.
So he was like, and he was just telling me how, older guy, he probably like was in his 50s, saying how he got a degree in graphic design.
Wow.
And I'm like, what?
That's crazy, bro.
I said, I need you. He said, what you need? The next day when I went to work, I brung my artwork to him and I said, can you put this in book format for me?
This is the artwork from Sal?
Yeah, from Sal. Yeah. I said, can you put this in book format for me? And he said, I got you. And he said, I just need one thing. What do you want the cover to be? I said, my son's face on the cover. This is when he was 9 years old.
Okay.
My son's face on the cover. So I put my son
hates you for it.
Oh my God! I sold over 15,000 books.
Wow.
with his face on the cover.
And he's mad at you.
Yes, and you know how many Jordans he got?
Right.
He's mad at me. He only mad at me when it comes to things like this. But when it's beneficial to him, he loves me.
Dad, I need this. Daddy, I need that. Yeah.
But it was so crazy.
That's awesome.
It was real because, like I said, I grew up in Trumbull Gardens, and that's a predominantly drug selling area.
Right.
And I remember people thought I was crazy, but I used the metaphor of Master P. I remember I was a big Master P fan, and Master P, I remember I was watching his biography, and I remember he said he loaded up he had a white Lexus, and he called it the ice cream truck. And and that was his first, I think his album was called The Ice Cream Man.
Yeah.
And he loaded his trunk, his whole car full with CDs. And he just went right into different states and sold his CD. I didn't go as far as ride into a whole bunch of states, but I loaded my truck with coloring books. And I would go from town, my neighboring towns and sell stuff. But I remember I used to be on the same block where people were selling drugs.
And you're selling coloring books.
And I'm selling coloring books.
Yeah, it's powerful.
Wow, that's powerful, bro.
Seriously. I remember one time, this is the dead honest truth. I never told this on a platform like this yet. I remember it was this guy. He was doing this thing to survive. And his customer, a lady, she just finished buying some illegal drugs from him. And she looked at me and she said, "You're the coloring book guy." She said, "I have $3. Can I get a coloring book?"
Oh, wow.
That right there kind of like changed my mind, as if like I really have something here.
Right.
I really have something here.
Yeah, she was willing to spend, she's drug addicted, willing to spend her last $3 to hopefully bring one of these books home to her kid.
But she said, "I want to bring it to my daughter."
Wow.
So
it's powerful.
I just had to tell that story.
No,
'cause
thank you.
I guess it was flowing what we was talking about.
No,
That's the
absolutely,
spirit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
That's
the
omens, you
spirit.
gotta look out
yeah,
for it.
Yeah. So back to my friend Ed. He put it in book format, put my son cover on the my son picture as the cover, and I had me a book. Now, I needed funds to get this book going, and back when I was younger, I have a mentor. His name is Howard Owens. His father,
Howard.
Yes, his father is Judge Howard Owens, and God bless his death. He passed away, but I remember telling they used to live on Brooklawn, and that's maybe like 5 minutes away from where I live at. And I used to spend my summers in there. They had this beautiful home. It had an elevator, and I thought I was in a mansion. It was just, like I said, it was 3 minutes away from my home, but
another world.
It was a whole nother world. I met so many people just by staying at their house in the summer. So I remember I told the judge one day, I said, Judge, I got something here, but I need some
capital
to get it going. He wrote me a check for $500. That $500, I spent it with Tech. You know, the school or Biller Havens. Biller Havens. I went to their print department, and they printed my first like 500 books.
Wow.
Yeah, so
that's dope.
Yeah, so I went there.
Shout out Bullard Havens.
Yeah, I went there and I got my books printed, and I was just on a mission ever since then. Like I said, I probably altogether right now I probably sold maybe a little over 30,000 books independently.
Wow.
With no back end or nothing, just through Facebook.
You listening to Mark Cuban?
And this is since it's been 6 years?
Yes.
6 years, right?
Yep.
Okay.
About
so you've been
6
doing
years.
this since like 2014.
Yeah, probably a little earlier than that.
12.
Yeah.
Maybe?
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
Yep. So when I had my son face on the cover, right? It's a crazy story. My son used to, it's only 12 pages. My son will take that book with him wherever he went. He done colored, got food stains all on the coloring book, but that was his book. He said,
Still have it?
Yeah.
Still has it?
Yeah, he still has it. I actually have it in a safe.
Good. Yeah, I
So-
was gonna say, bro,
yeah.
that thing's gonna be
Save it,
where
yeah.
that's the original copy. Woo!
It was, man, I'm telling you, it was ripped up and everything. So I get a call from his teacher, and she said, Mr. Bell, can you come to the school? I said, what did my son do? She said, nah, just come to the school. So I went to the school, and she said to me, your son got this coloring book, and he told me you created this book for him, and I'm telling him that this book comes from Scholastics.
Right.
And I'm saying, nah, that's my book. I said, I created it for him.
This is the book, by the way. You got this.
That's actually two.
Hold on, stay there, Jacob. There you go. A little bit lower. There you go. Hey, yo.
This is Color of Positive Thought 2, so this is the second edition.
Yeah.
It looks like your son
And,
has some friends.
Yeah.
On the back cover, it says, with every negative situation, there's a positive way out. Harry A. Bell. That's
Yeah.
a quote from him. We're going to
That's fire.
start dropping that one on the
Hell yeah.
podcast, too.
Definitely. Drop a bomb on that quote.
Yeah, facts.
So she had you come to the school?
So
and
she
she's
had
like,
me, she had me come to the school. I went to the school. She once she realized it was mine, she said, can you please supply each kid with a book and talk about the pages that made you come up with the pages, because every page in that book is something that I went through, and a negative situation that I went through and overcame it with a positive. Or if I didn't go through it, my friend went through it.
What's like, give us an example.
I got one in here. Let me see. Let me look through this. It says, the quick way is not the best way. And
Talking about
yes, and if it's like a picture, but it's like cut in half. So it's a young man, he's scratching his head, and it's a kid with a bag, and he got a gold watch on, he got rings on, and he's trying to get this kid to actually take this bag to make some quick money. So it's a thought bubble, and it's the kid in a cell in the thought bubble. And on the bottom, it's a kid reaching, his hand is out and he's getting a paycheck from sweeping hair in the barbershop. That was me. I grew up in a barbershop. I swept hair before my whole pre-teen until I graduated from barber school and got my license, and I was cutting hair. But I was offered so many times a quick way to get money, to sell drugs, to do things like that that will have me end up in jail. So I took a positive way out. Maybe I got the money slower, but I felt good when I got that paycheck.
And it brought you to where you are today.
And that's exactly where I'm at today. And them same people that encouraged me to sell drugs, now they come to me asking for community service hours.
Wow. That is crazy.
So aside from, I'm very, very powerful.
It is.
Aside from the actual coloring books, though, you're somewhat of like you're a community figure. You know what I mean? Like I've followed along on social media and everything. You do food drives, right?
Yeah.
You bring large companies in the area and politicians and everybody together to help back your cause, which is not just the coloring book. It
started with the coloring book, but it just
grew.
Snowballed.
Yeah.
It snowballed into programs. I remind you, I just became nonprofit status. I was doing this for about 7 years without being a nonprofit status. What happened was I was so comfortable with just being able to put smiles on kids' face and helping my community, helping people in the city of Bridgeport with little small donations.
right.
So, I was consistent with it's crazy because it'll be people that I never met in my life hitting me up on Facebook. They don't even look like me. They don't come from the same origin I come from or nothing. But they will contact me on Facebook and say, do you have a Cash App or something? Or a Venmo or whatever? Hey, go $400. I want to support your cause. I want to do something for your community. Wow. I want to do something. Wow. And I was able to do events like this for 7 years straight, consistently, with just the help of your average Joe and Sandy.
Just hitting you up, asking.
Hitting me up. Just saying, how can I do it? Because one thing about me, I always so it seemed like the way I am on Facebook, I make it as people grow with me.
Right.
So I put it out there. If I'm having an event and I got to go get hot dogs, hamburger from the store, I'm on live.
Yeah.
Going getting hot dogs, hamburgers, and all that stuff from the store. I want people to actually say, I lived his come up with him, and he's been that same humble guy from day one. So at the end of the day, my success is our success because you watch me and we did it together and we all was blessed throughout the time.
Right.
Yes. Amen.
Yeah, that's powerful stuff.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about you just did the food drive in Trumbull Gardens, right? In the terrace.
Yeah. So what happened was, it's so crazy. Let me tell you how all this food came along. It's sometimes they say, God will bless you during your darkest hours. I think I got huge due to the fact of the coronavirus. And I'm not using it as like a win, but what happened was when the coronavirus hit back months ago in the beginning, there was no one outside.
Right.
Everybody was scared.
Yeah, little cockroaches.
Yeah. Everybody was like scared, and not scared in a way, a bad way, just saying they don't want to get sick.
And
I understand that.
Right.
But what happened was, it was me and my friend named Malik. First, what happened with that, I got a deal with Trader Joe's in Fairfield. This young girl I watched grow up, her name is Shamanda. She works at Trader Joe's, and she seen me like just doing stuff for the community. So she said, Trader Joe's want to give you food to help out. So what I would do is I'll grab my buddy who got a pickup truck. I'll go to Trader Joe's and I'll get they give me maybe 60 boxes full of meats, produce, vegetables, all types of stuff.
Shout out Trader Joe's.
Yeah, and the girl that works there. Maybe I could help out here.
All types of stuff.
Yeah.
All types of stuff. And I'll load it in my pickup truck and I'll go to every side of town and I'll go on live and say, I'm in PT. Come out right now, free produce, pop-up market. And I was doing it for weeks, months straight. I'll go to another project. I'm over here, Color of Positive Thought, pop-up market. Just going, and it was just going, it became a big thing on Facebook. So people started gravitating towards me. People started following my page to wait till I just pop up and have this pickup truck and they just come get free food. So this lady by the name of Amy Stefanowski. Amy Stefanowski is the wife of Bob Stefanowski, who ran for governor.
Okay.
She reached out to me and said, I got a friend who can help you and it can help you feed more people. And I'm like, cool, I'll do it. So the lady called me, and prior to that too, I met this guy named Malik who worked for this church-based foundation, and we started giving out 100 hot meals for free every Wednesday.
Wow.
So that just blew up me and him.
Bridgeport Rescue Mission?
No, not Bridgeport. It's called Churches of Counsel.
Okay.
Yeah. Bridgeport Rescue Mission came in between because of all the hype, all the publicity that I was getting with.
They said we need to get in on this.
Yeah, so they reached out to me, Miss Pope, and now I do groceries in Trumbull Garden, teaming up with them every other Tuesday.
Wow.
So
it's amazing, dude.
So back to Amy. So Amy said, I have a friend that can help you out. This lady name is Karen Thomas. She is the director of Helping Hands, Family to Farmers. What it is that, so she said, she reached out to me. She said, give me your information. I got some food for you. So I'm like, okay, I'm thinking it's like another 80 boxes or something like that. And I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah. So she called me and she said, send me your email. I sent her the email. It was 1,500 20-pound boxes of fresh produce, vegetables, and things to that nature.
Wow.
She said, will you be able to handle this? I said yes before I knew where I was going to store this at.
Yeah.
Or anything. I remember it was my son's birthday. And I said to my son, I said, don't be mad. I gotta make some phone. We was at a restaurant in a mall. And I said, give me the Cheesecake Factory. I said, give me some time. I need to make these calls. And my son was cool with it. So I made some calls to Scott Wilderman from first I made a couple calls and people was just so scared of the quantity and they like try to like talk me down. Gotcha. So I just hung up on them real quick. Now I don't need that negative. I'm not accepting that.
Yep.
Back up, devil. Back up. Yeah. I don't need that.
Facts.
So I said, you know what? I went to Scott Wilderman from Career Resource, and he called Doug Wade, who is a friend of his who have the dairy company on Barnum, Mass. Yeah. And Doug got a big storage spot with freezers and all that stuff. So we made it happen, and we've been doing it now for about, we did it like 2 times. I just signed the deal today, and I will be bringing in 3,000 boxes every Saturday, starting this Saturday to the end of October. So it's 2 trucks, 1,500 on each truck, boxes, 30 pounds, meat, vegetables, produce, milk, dairy, cheese, all that stuff.
To the terrace?
No, it's too big. It's too big for the tiers. So we doing it at Wade. It's a citywide thing.
Oh,
so
you're gonna do it out to the city.
Yeah, so yeah, we've been doing that for
Wow.
a few times now. So everybody from the city could just come out and grab them a box or two.
Cool.
That's
grab and go.
awesome, dude.
That's amazing.
Hell yeah.
And what time is it on Saturdays?
7 o'clock to I say 10, but we usually give another hour.
Got it. That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. One couple things going through my mind is like how crazy it is that so I live right by Harborview Market, you know, in Black Rock, and then it blows my mind sometimes, like from where I live to 3 streets over, how much different it is to live like in P.T. Barnum. You know, it's the largest, poorest project in Connecticut.
Yes.
You know, so it's just our other friend Mike that we had on here, like talking about just like the area that we live in, like the economic gap between town to town, but even just between 2 streets. You know what I mean? If you're on one side of Ellsworth, it's one world. If you're on the other side of Ellsworth, it's like completely different world over there, you know? And it's just like crazy to think like people that live right down the street from me, right, are struggling to just even eat. Yeah. You know what I mean? Below the poverty line and everything.
That was my first time actually going to that market. I never knew that market, heard of that market or anything.
Wow.
And I've been living in Bridgeport for 30 years.
At Harborview Market? Yeah.
And that's my first time. I never knew.
Yeah, it's a little hidden gem.
Yeah, I never knew that it even existed.
Yeah.
So I understand what you're saying. It's just that, and that's what I do at Color of Positive Thought too. We do trips. Like I, not too long ago, I took maybe about last month, I took maybe 17 kids camping for the weekend.
Oh wow!
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I do rugby too. I'm the rugby coordinator for Cobra Rugby, called City of Bridgeport Rugby Alliance. I teamed up with a guy named Bob Elder, who runs the Fairfield Rugby Cobra part, and he wanted to get some Bridgeport kids involved. And we've been doing that for almost 2 years now. We take kids on trips.
That's awesome.
Like I said, we went to a camp in a cabin. Like I said, maybe 16 kids about a month ago, and we was up in right up in Monroe.
Okay.
Yeah,
Route
Monroe.
7, yeah.
We went right up in there, and them kids, like when they went in there, they were like they never been here before. They never it's like they was in a whole nother world.
Right. Like another country.
Yeah. Yes. It was totally like. It was something, and these kids, a lot of them, because I work for the school system now. Okay. I am the head mentor. I run my program through the school system now. The superintendent, Michael Testani, he was coming to my events, and I was saying, and it was strange because I'm like, wow, the superintendent had been following me. He's coming to my events and stuff like that. And then I didn't know that he was already had in his mind that he wanted my program to be adopted by the school system, and I'd be the head mentor because I started off as a guard.
Right. Security guard.
Yeah, security officer for the schools. Now I run the mentoring program district-wide.
Yeah.
That's fire, dude.
What the other thing I'm thinking is so obviously like there's a major issue, right, with inner city, especially in the projects and everything, with crime, violence, drugs, and you being from there and so on, so making it out, you know what I mean? Like that, you've risen above it and you're like, I'm staying positive and I'm going to do something to impact my community.
Yeah.
What do you think like in the big picture, what the solution for everything is? You have any ideas on it?
Yeah. What I think that it's a lot of people that do what I do in the city. So my solution is for them to just keep doing what you're doing. Don't stop. Don't get discouraged. Keep doing what you're doing because there are some kids who looking at us as that beacon of hope. So we just need to keep going forward because violence is going to play a part no matter what. Right. No matter what, you know. So my thing, but the crazy thing, I just like to start young because I grow with the kids, you know. Yeah. And it seems like when they're younger, they more prone to listen.
Hard to teach an old dog new tricks.
Definitely. So that's why I work with younger kids, and I grow, and I don't leave them when they get older. I grow with them. So I try to stay with the crowd that I'm catering to and watch them grow, because I think if you be consistent with them, they will understand that you care. A lot of people are not consistent.
Right.
And a lot of people are not 100%
real
into changing these kids. I remember not too long ago, I met a kid and he's like, I like what you're doing, but I just don't want to, I don't want to open up to you. And I'm like, why? What's up, bro? He like, I just don't want to open up to you, man. I'm like, cool, forget it. You don't got to open up to me. So, I every day I see him, I'm like, man, I'm doing rugby. I also have a selling camp too. I partner up with Captain Coles, Beth from Sailway.
Yep.
And I bring, I do selling every summer. I had 100 kids prior to last summer. Yeah. But this COVID, we only had 25. But I've been doing it for almost three summers.
Teach kids sailing?
Yeah. I get kids out of the projects and we teach them to go sailing and stuff like that at Captain Coles. Yeah. Shout out to Beth from Sailway, Captain Coles. Yeah.
Seriously. Yeah. That's amazing.
I think you have the right idea. It's like showing, because sometimes when you're in it, you know what I mean? It's so hard to see that there's a way out of it.
Yes.
You know, especially like when it's in the projects and
everywhere around you
grow up in that, you know what I mean? It's just what you know, it's what you're comfortable with, but not being able to see like that there's a world outside of that, you know what I mean? That like you can leave and like you can do other things. And
that's exactly why. Because, you know, see, people always used to laugh at me and say, because I do tennis too. I got a tennis camp too.
Yeah.
I do. And people used to always laugh at me saying, why do I do these sports that's not normal to our kids?
Right.
Like,
black
people don't play.
Yeah, yes, exactly. Yeah, no, I've noticed the theme here. You know what I mean? And
black people don't go
they don't go sailing.
They don't go sailing or nothing like that. But it's a bigger picture that I'm trying to capture.
Yeah.
See what it is.
It's just
and
they
you
don't
make
have
connections.
access.
Yeah, you make connections with other
lack
people
of access.
too.
Yes.
That's the thing. People think it's like, oh, black people don't play these sports. It's like, actually, no, they do. It's just they don't have access at a young age to do that.
To sailboats.
Right, to sailboats. You know what I mean? Like, come on now.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. You'll catch some kid like, man, you crazy, man. I'm going back to the hood, man. Give me a basketball. I ain't going no selling. But you'd have some kids
who
that you gravitate to it. But the biggest, what the picture I'm trying to capture is that a lot of minority kids are they stuck in a box. Mm-hmm. They only deal with people that they grew up with. So they're not so quick to try new things. So by me bringing these things that's unnormal to them, I'm actually getting them ready to be able to accept new things when they get older.
Right.
And that's the thing, that's the goal that we at Color of Positive Thought try to push. We want them to be able to, like, you know what? Hold on. You know what? I thought I wasn't gonna like that. I didn't even want to try it. But now I like it. You know what? Now, when I was younger, I did that with Mr. Bell and I tried something new and I enjoyed it. So now I'm older, let me try this, because you never know what could happen, because I didn't like selling and I love going selling now.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. No, for real. I mean, I think we need more people like yourself in inner city communities, you know, showing people that there's other things you could do.
You're not a hip hop artist, so like you're not Nipsey in that sense, but like you really remind me of Nipsey in a sense of like someone who's from the hood, went and, you know, did his thing, but he didn't leave. You know, he stayed put and he reinvested and made his home better. Way better, you know what I mean? So, dude, Jake's right. We need more people like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Mike from Full Court Peace, he has
someone you got to link up.
Yeah, you got to link up with him because he has the same kind of idea. It's like, let me get 4 or 5 kids from Westport and bring them to the Terrace. Get 4 or 5 kids from the Terrace
and link them up.
Link them up. Start, you know, fix up a basketball court. Start playing basketball and get everybody, like, these communities intertwined. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, bring everybody together.
But let me say this too, because I don't want people to think that I didn't struggle getting to where I'm at.
Right.
Meaning
I highly doubt that.
Meaning that there was some stones
trials and tribulations
that I had to go through. Like I remember.
Well, I mean, you started out with the odds against you.
Yeah.
But
From
what I'm
day one, literally.
Yeah.
You know.
But what I'm saying is that I remember, like me, I will take, and people thought I was crazy. I will take 10 kids from the hood, pack them in my car, and we'll go out to eat somewhere.
Right.
And I kept doing this consistently. But you know how many times that I went out and they started fighting in the restaurant? Most people will be like, I ain't taking these. No, I'm done.
Yeah, it's over.
Yeah.
I'm done.
That was early on. That's how you started, you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I done had to break up fights and things to that nature. I done bring these kids around people that can help them and take them to another level.
Yeah.
And they stole wallets and things to that nature.
Right.
But I did not give up on them.
Right.
I chastised them.
Right.
But I did not give up on them. I said, you know what? We're gonna do it again. Hopefully you won't do it the next time. And maybe they did do it the next time. We're gonna do it again. I hope you don't do it the next time. Eventually, I can take them same kids out and these kids are totally different.
Right.
Well, you don't
Totally
give
different.
up on them, right?
Well,
So
yeah.
a lot of people are probably used to like, okay, I did this person, they gave up on me now, right? Especially like in the school system and stuff, like just that over that failing and failing and failing and failing, and people
do
just
give
giving up on you.
Yeah.
Like you never gave up. You said
You know what
Yeah.
that is? That's unconditional love right there.
Yeah.
That's what that is.
for the community though.
right.
Yeah.
And again, I have a 16-year-old son that is the peers to some of the kids that I'm dealing with. So, my betterment that I want for my son, I share that with the kids that I deal with as well. So I'm looking at them as if they're one of mine. And on top of that, them kids was me at one point.
Right, and I was just gonna say that actually, kind of you could relate to that a lot growing up with your cousins, and those are your brothers and sisters. We're stepbrothers, so we totally get that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We don't tell.
We've been brothers since we were 2 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I get like the
look,
the non-blood related,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
like, he's my brother.
Yeah.
Got you.
Yeah.
Got you.
Absolutely. What do you think the difference is between yourself, right, having grown up and gone through all that you've gone through, and like somebody else that's in a similar situation that went down a more negative path and maybe is not doing positive things, like how people get wrapped up in drug dealing, people get wrapped up in this violence and crime. What was it about your life that brought you to where you are versus a lot of people that were around you that probably aren't doing that?
First of all, I'm no different,
Right.
because my accomplishment come from them not accomplishing. If you want, what I'm saying is that I watched them go that way, and I looked at myself as I'm you. So if you do that, the same thing could happen for me. But on another note, I always wanted more as a kid, because I remember, and this lady, she, a couple years back, because I was always on the news for doing something great, she seen me one time and she said, I remember when you was a kid and you was in some surrounding and someone was saying, that's that Bell boy. All his family do drugs. All his family don't amount to nothing. Because again, I grew up with aunts and uncles and they all either died from they all died from OD or basically or liquor. OD and liquor. That's how my birth mother died from AIDS. And my aunts and my uncles, they died from alcohol, bad liver, or OD, or for drugs.
Got it.
So I remember this lady said, this person was saying, oh, this kid ain't gonna be, she was saying to me, that he ain't gonna be nothing. And I overheard her talking, but she wasn't talking to me. She was talking to someone else, but I was right there.
Hearing.
You know, them old, I was doing what you was doing when you met me, ear hustling. So she was like, this kid's gonna end up just like his family. I ain't gonna amount to nothing. And she said that I don't remember. And she said I was probably like 8 or 9 years old. She said, I said to her after she finished talking, she said, I walked up to her and said, hey lady, I ain't gonna be nothing like my family. I'm gonna be successful.
Damn.
And she reminded me of,
Years later,
not too long ago, of that conversation and what I said.
Hopefully
So,
on a nicer note.
yeah,
from
but
her.
and she said she apologized.
Wow.
She apologized to me and stuff like that. But as a kid, I always wanted more because I felt like I didn't have nothing. You know, and me being able to see my friend go through something, it was like, okay, I'm cool. I seen that happen to you, but you got to be strong though.
Yeah, I'm sure
You have to be strong-minded.
Yeah.
And
It's easy to get grouped in with the rest of it, right?
Yeah. But I think my passion was saying that I wanted, before my mother passed on away, my birth mother, I used to always say I'm going to make a lot of money and get her off of drugs. As a kid, I remember, I'm going to make a lot of money and I'm going to get my mom off of drugs. I used to say that to one of my best friends, Rondell, who's locked up right now. I'm going to make a lot of money and I'm going to get my mom my mom ain't gonna do drugs no more. I'm gonna help her out. Sad to say that she passed early on in life, but I think my passion just kept going because I had a praying grandmother. My grandmother used to say 3 things to me, and my grandmother died maybe 2 years ago. She was like almost 100.
Wow.
Yeah. She caught cancer at like 99. Like,
Damn.
Jesus.
That's a long life. Yeah.
yeah. Grandma, you made it.
Yeah, literally. It's time. She's like, all right, guys. I'm going
definitely.
out.
Yeah.
She was a godly woman, you're saying?
My grandmother was godly. I'm telling you, she said 3 things to me as a kid, and she said it during the most wonderful time of the day. She said it. My grandmother used to make this great cake called sweet cake. It was pound cake, but we called it sweet cake.
Okay.
So every Thursday or every Friday, I used to run from school and run to her house. And she always used to have the small little tray for me to eat first. It was always fresh and hot. And I used to love it. And every time I used to eat, she used to say these 3 things. And she did this for years, scolded to me at the right time, and I paid attention to it because I'm an eater.
Yeah.
And she knew how to get me to listen when I'm sitting down eating something that I love. She said, keep a clean record, don't do drugs, and finish high school. That's all she said. She didn't say go to college or nothing like that.
Just finish high school.
Nah, she didn't say go to college or nothing like that. She said take a clean record.
Don't do drugs.
Don't do drugs. And finish high school. And grandma, I did it.
Yeah, exactly.
I did it.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
It is.
And not every time I wanted to do something like crazy, I hear my grandmother's voice. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you. Yeah. I remember one time my friends and I, he went to go steal a car, and we went to go see some girls, and he said, "Come on, let's go." I swear to you, I thought I heard my grandmother yelling in my ear.
Keep a clean record.
I'm gonna go to jail. I can't do this.
Yep. Well, thank God
damn.
for grandma. Shout out grandma.
Yeah. Grandmas are always,
they're the best.
They're always clutch. Yeah. My grandmother's dropped some wisdom on me too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like you just refuse to take any negativity, and no matter what, just turn it into positivity.
Yeah.
Like, and you take the positive advice and you say, this is positive advice, I'm taking this. You take the negative stuff, like the woman saying it's never going to amount to anything, and saying, all right, I'm going to use that as my fuel to not be that.
Yeah.
Or he says, block that negative out of here.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I don't need that right now.
So another thing too, I used to drink. I used to smoke weed when I was younger. I've been almost 13 years of not drinking or smoking, right?
Yeah.
But prior to when I stopped it, right, I used to work at DRS, and I used to do the graveyard shift.
Hey.
So only thing I had to do was sit up in the booth and just hit the button and let cars go in. I'm telling you, that whole 3 years, I didn't do nothing but keep a headphone on and listen to nothing but empowerment. trying to build myself up, because what I was going through was a was a decade of bad habits. So I had to like rebuild myself because I was going through. Yeah, it was a generational thing that made me act this way.
Curses.
Yes. It was a generational curse that made me act the way that I act.
Yep.
So I had to like really reboot myself.
Do a complete 180.
I did a 180. I'm telling you, man, I was at my whole YouTube was nothing but empowerment for 3 years, because I said to myself, when I go back to the streets, meaning be able, and I secluded myself. I didn't go outside. Only thing I was doing was just rebooting Harry Bell. And I said, when I'm done with this, I don't want to be that person that go out on the street and start preaching to people. Nah. I wanted people to smell the aura of positivity on me.
Spirit.
Yeah. I didn't want that. I wanted to be able, when I come around, they just like, man, I want you to be able to feel that aura.
That's
so
what he did. That's what I'm saying. As soon as you walked up to Harvey that day, I was like, this guy's, he's different, you know?
Yeah, and I worked 3 years on that.
Yeah.
I worked 3 years. And it's still, I'm working at today.
Every day.
Yeah. We say a lot on here, well done is always better than well said, you know? So not preaching, going out, doing everything.
Just so you know, we have 9 minutes on audio. If we wanted to keep going, I just have to switch it out, but I'm letting you guys know.
Okay.
You all right?
Yeah, we're good.
Cool.
Yeah, did you, I mean, you already said a lot of great stuff. What do you want to get into? Please tell us.
Yeah. People say, ask me what was the hardest thing I had to do.
Yeah.
The hardest thing I had to do was, in order to make my first big sale, and that was, I think, 10,000 books.
To where?
7,000 books to a school district.
Okay.
They said I had to change the cover
from your son's face?
Of my son's face and make it for everybody.
I already know what you said.
Okay.
It was hard, but I realized that.
The second one or the first one?
The whole
first
thing.
one was his son's face, and he went to go
it
sell it to the school district, and they said, we'll buy 10,000, 7,000 copies, whatever it was, but we don't want just your son's face on it. We want it to be inclusive of everybody. And on here, it looks like you have all the the skin tones and everything.
So I said to myself, because it was hard, because this was something that I made just for my son at the time being. I didn't know that it was going to snowball into what it is today.
Right.
And I realized, I said, a gift for somebody could be a gift for the world. Mm-hmm. And my gift to my son was meant for kids all around the world.
Just like how you said you when you mentor people, you mentor them as if they are your son, because they're the same age as your son and everything. Mm-hmm. This is just that widespread mentorship that you're able to. This is able to go a lot further than just you yourself, you know?
Yeah. It's powerful.
So I done got calls from the Ellen DeGeneres show.
Wow.
And all that stuff.
Nice. Wow.
Right now, not too long before the COVID, I was supposed to go down there. Michael Strahan was interested in what I was doing, I heard. And I was gonna tag him.
We're gonna tag everybody in this. I was thinking Tony Robbins too. He does a lot of food stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna blow it up with tags.
My mentor, he's a big time producer down in LA.
Cool.
And he got a company called Propagate. Him and oh my God, the guy used to own A&E, Jewish guy.
Wow.
Him, Will I Am, and my mentor, they got together and did Propagate.
Wow.
Amazing.
That's epic.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah, my partner's in LA right now. He's with what's that, the ex-football player that's on Dancing with the Stars? Vernon Davis.
Oh wow.
I don't know anything about football or Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah. He's
that's
actually
dope,
my
bro.
partner, Ivan. He's actually my partner. He's down there.
Former tight end.
Yeah. He actually, because a lot of celebrities been like, they grabbed my book and took pictures with it and stuff like that too.
That's awesome.
So,
well, thanks for coming on. Jeez.
Yeah. Before we wrap up though, what's next? What's the plan? Keep doing the book. Keep up with the community events. Keep up with everything.
Whatever God leads me, man. I don't know. I just go off the cuff, and whatever I
he
do,
is.
I put God first. So hopefully where I land is going to be a place where he want me to land.
Little word of advice for the people too, maybe.
Anything you want to, like a note you want to leave on? Anything to other people?
Yeah. The worst thing you can do is think twice to a dream that you had your entire life. The worst thing you could do is think twice. Get it done. Fight as hard as you can, because you never know what you have the world may need.
Beautiful.
That is, and we're off on that.
Wait,
go
before
ahead.
one last thing before we
Yeah,
finish. He has his nonprofit set
Oh,
up
yeah,
now.
yeah.
Where can we find
Yeah,
you on
sorry.
social media, and where can we go to make donations?
Yes.
You could, everything is Color of Positive. You could actually Google Color of Positive Thought, Harry Bell, and so much stuff will come up. And but my website is colorofpositivethought.org. You could go there, take a look at some stuff. Like I said, I just got my status going, so I'm putting pieces together on my website, but it is up. If you would like to donate to support the movement, please go to colorofpositive.org and go to our donation section and make a blessing so we could be a blessing.
Facts.
Sounds good.
Love
And
it, dude.
You're also on Facebook at Harry Bell.
Color of Positive Thought, Harry Bell.
And on Instagram
Color of Positive Thought.
at Color Positive Thought.
Awesome.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Thank you
man.
so much for coming on.
Thank you guys for having
Thanks,
me.
bro.
We appreciate you.
Yes.
Yeah, we got it. The mic. 4 piece.